Good morning, everyone. I did not wait until the show started to spill tea. It's everywhere. So I hope things work this morning as I am preparing to get ready. It's good though, but I did spill it. Hello, Lemon Nation. What's going on? Thank you for joining us this morning for Hot Topics, 10 a.m.-ish. Don got a waffle iron. I know Don got a waffle iron. One Belgian waffle, please, and thank you. I do not. Well, I do have a waffle iron, but I think I maybe threw it away because it didn't work great. I got it during COVID because we were cooking so much at home. So you're right. I do, but I don't know if it worked. You had to turn it and all that stuff. Anyways, how are you? Let me know where you're streaming from. That man is always late on YouTube. I wasn't. We're not that late. It's only 15 minutes. It's not bad. You ever watch some of the shows? You sit there and the music is, it's going and it's got a countdown and it's never right. And anyways, we're creating a little anticipation. Thank you. Whoever said I look great. I appreciate that. Hello, Ocala. Good morning to you. Griffin, Georgia. Then there's Houston, Texas. Baltimore, North Carolina. Brooklyn, Ohio, Texas. Evelyn Zavala, you're the best as well. Hello, S. Dunn 6574. Thank you so much. Grand Rising, I love that. Someone from Baton Rouge, wow. Grand Rising. That's what Ayanla always says. I miss her. We need to have Ayanla back on. So I'm glad that you guys are here this morning. Thank you so much for joining us. A lot to talk about. We want to talk about Trump's very bad news. And as he is overseas trying to pretend like everything is great. Wow, I'm matching this morning. See this? That is it's got Lemon Nation on here. You can't really see it with the light. Let's see, I'll bring it down for a second and see. I'm going to freak some people out here to see if you can see it. Let's see. I'm going to try to bring the light down, but it's going to freak people out. But, oh well, you'll get to see. But you can see that it's got the Lemon Nation on the thing, and you can't really tell because the light is so bright. Can you see it now? There you go. That's in the merch store. See, Lemon Nation. It's almost like it's, what do you call it? Is it fluorescent or the thing? What's it called? The thing, iridescent, right? Is that the one that glows in the dark is iridescent? Did I get that right? One is, I forget what you call the other one. I just had it. One is the one that's like the green, yellow, whatever. And then it's the iridescent, the one that's up like the phosphorescence bays in Puerto Rico. Okay. So there we go. All right. So let's talk this morning about what's going on in the world and about, we have a president who's overseas and trying to pretend like everything is okay and blah, blah, blah. Well, people, I hate to tell you it's not, but Trump is getting very bad news, but you wouldn't know it if you actually like sit around and you listen to the news media and you listen to the mainstream folks. One is neon, but it's not, this isn't neon. This is more of like iridescent. So, if you just listen to the mainstream media, you would think like, oh, everything is great, that he's winning. And I guess that's what he wants people to think, because that's why he has been controlling the news, because he gets to tell people what it is. But before we get to him, I just want to shout out to the folks who are in Cuba and Jamaica, because they're really going through it. Look at these pictures coming out of the area. This is Hurricane Melissa. And so our prayers are with these folks. It was a Category 5, I believe it was barreling towards, but since it has slowed down a bit, and it's brought flooding, landslides, storm surge to both islands, Jamaica, blocked roads, communication outages, or hampering efforts to get a full picture of the destruction. We still don't know the full picture of the destruction there. Life-threatening storm surge, flooding to Cuba on Wednesday after leaving a swath of destruction in Jamaica, where power and internet outages were making it difficult to assess the scale of the damage. The storm weakened somewhat before making landfall in Cuba and is now a Category 2 storm. The National Hurricane Center said on Wednesday. Melissa remained potent and dangerous, though. Parts of eastern Cuba were set to receive more than 20 inches of rain and dangerous flooding, and the southeastern Bahamas were expected to receive up to 10 inches of rainfall as the storm advanced. So it's still very powerful, and those things can pick up. So who knows what's going to happen as it continues to make its way through the, I know people say Caribbean, but it's Caribbean islands and such. So we'll see. We don't know the extent of the damage, but boy, it does not look good. Communications are down. They are recovering now in the aftermath. So if you guys have any family in Jamaica or Cuba, let us know what is going on. And if you have pictures, send them to us. What's a correct email address, Nikki? Is it the donlemonshow@gmail.com, right?
Yes, it's the donlemonshow@gmail.com.
If you have any pictures or anything, video, or anyone who's there and they want to talk to us, email us, okay? So as we say, our prayers and our thoughts really go out for that. Let's continue on now. Make sure you hit the like, make sure you hit the thumbs up. Thank you so much for joining us this morning, okay? Become a member, subscribe, but hit that thumbs up because that's what affects the algorithm. And then you'll see more people starting to trickle in the show because you're hitting the thumbs up, and then they start getting notices and they're aware. The algorithm becomes aware that we're on and having a conversation, and it starts pushing it out to other people. That's how it works. So perhaps I should be more explicit when I tell you to hit the thumbs up. That's why it's really important, okay? And for you to subscribe, because the same thing, all of that affects the algorithm. So thank you so much for joining this morning. So let's get right into it, because the man who swore, that he was untouchable, that nobody could touch him, right? He's getting hit from every single direction, but you might not know it if you are watching the broadcast news or even the cable news or the mainstream media, as they call it. Donald Trump is a guy who built his brand on being untouchable, having a very, very bad week. The prosecutor that he handpicked to go after his enemies, well, that is falling apart. Lindsay Halligan, remember her? That's Trump's personal choice to target James Comey and Letitia James and John Bolton, or whoever else that he's mad at this week. It turns out the way she got that job might not be constitutional. It could be unconstitutional because he skipped the Senate confirmation process. This is what happens when you don't follow the rules, okay? And even if, I know what the Supreme Court says and all that about, but this is something different. This is not like immunity. This is something completely different. When you don't follow the rules, especially in the court, right? You have to trust the process. You have to go through the process. You have to do all the things legally right. Otherwise, it doesn't work. So he skipped the Senate confirmation process. He just dropped her in like she was, like he was picking up a shift. She would be picking up a shift at Mar-a-Lago or something. And now the courts are saying, you can't do that. And these lawyers, look, Abby Lowell does not mess around. And these lawyers, these high-profile, high-powered, expensive lawyers don't mess around. If that ruling stands, every one of those revenge prosecutions could be just tossed. Just gone. Poof. Can you imagine that? I know he hates that. I know his lawyers in the Trump administration, they are spinning because that's what happens when you try to run justice, the justice system, the Justice Department, like it is your family business. You can bully people. You can buy people. But guess what? When you hear people saying the one thing that is holding, it may not seem like it is, but it's a legal system because you can't shortcut the law forever. It always catches up. The legal system will catch your ass and it will bite you in the butt. It'll bite you in the ass. And while he's dealing with that legal mess, here's the thing. 40 million Americans, 40 million, about to lose government assistance. Do you guys know anyone there? Perhaps you're one of them. About to lose those SNAP benefits, the government assistance, food, housing, basic survival. You hear that number so much that it can go numb. But I want you to think about it because that's more than numbers. That's 40 million people. That's more people than the entire state of California. Families who already work full time, who can't keep up with the cost of living. Kids going to bed hungry because their benefits got frozen. And look, if that's not enough, go to the airport. I have friends who are in the airport. They're calling me like, Don, what the hell's going on in these airports? I'm trying to tell you, it took me forever to get through security. I barely made my flight, or I missed my flight because the lines were so long. Go to an airport and you're going to see it. The air traffic controller shortage is out of control because of the strike, because of the shutdown and years of neglect. Really, the system is cracking right now. This is all part of Donald Trump's very bad news and why Republicans are suffering as it relates to this shutdown. Who's getting blamed? Flights delayed, lines so long, you can finish a whole Netflix episode before you hit the metal detector. Pilots saying out loud that it is unsafe to fly. Pilots saying out loud that it is unsafe to fly. Unsafe. Do you want to hear that from your pilot? And instead of fixing it, Donald Trump's response is to tell U.S. troops overseas that he is ready to send more than the National Guard into American cities to restore order. I mean, what does that even mean? This is Donald Trump talking about that. He was asked a question on Air Force One about that, about why are you sending more troops into American cities? You've said that since you've been here. Are you going to invoke the Insurrection Act? What is going on? Here he is.
That, but it hasn't been necessary. We're doing a great job without that, but yeah, it was necessary. As you know, I'm allowed to do that.
Do you mean other branches of the military you would send in, or
If it were, who are you with?
the New York Times?
That's very good, very good. Well, if you write it correctly, I'll give you the answer. But you know, if I want to enact a certain act, I'm allowed to do it routinely, and about 50% of presidents have used that, as you know, and I'd be allowed to do whatever I want. But we haven't chosen to do that because we're doing very well without it. But I'd be allowed to do that, you understand that? And the courts wouldn't get involved, nobody would get involved, and I could send the Army, Navy, Air Force, Marines, I could send anybody I wanted. But I haven't done that because we're doing so well without it. Washington, D.C. continues to be amazing, safe, and it's really great. As I said, Memphis, where we are now, is doing really well. It's down, I think, almost 70%. And within 2-3 weeks, it'll be down to almost no crime. Now, we're taking a lot of bad people out. We're incarcerating some very bad people, some gangs. They have a lot of bad gangs there, and we're taking care of it. And we're doing things that, frankly, local law enforcement is going to have a hard time doing. We're all set to go last Saturday into San Francisco. We look forward to that. We would have solved that problem in less than a month. But at the behest of a couple of really great people, very successful, great civic-minded people, they said, we'd love to try doing it ourselves, and that's okay. And we worked with the mayor, and we're working with those people, but we didn't surge the city. And I said, if we surge, it's going to go a lot quicker, and it's much more effective. But I want to give them a chance to do it themselves if they can. If they can't do it themselves, we'll solve San Francisco in 3 weeks.
Okay. Wow, there's so much there. Let's go through this, okay? Because he talked about presidents using the Insurrection Act and that he would be able to do it. Yeah, but not for what he's doing it for. That's the lie of it. And then why didn't anyone stop him and say, wait a minute, but that's not the same thing? Because it is true, a number of U.S. presidents have invoked the Insurrection Act, including, let's talk about this, George Washington, Abraham Lincoln, Ulysses S. Grant, Grover Cleveland, Dwight Eisenhower, John F. Kennedy, all that. Okay, here is the deal. They invoked these Insurrection Acts in response to what? Emergencies. George H.W. Bush in 1992 in response to the Los Angeles riots. George Washington in 1794 invoked the act to quell the Whiskey Rebellion in Western Pennsylvania, a revolt against a new federal tax on liquor production. These were out of control emergency acts that they did it. if the economy was in jeopardy, if people's lives were in jeopardy, if their businesses were in jeopardy, but on a major scale. George H.W. Bush in 1989 and 1992 invoked the act following Hurricane Hugo to address looting in the U.S. Virgin Islands in 1989 and again in 1992 during the Los Angeles riots. So if you actually look into what he says, and he doesn't know that because he's so dumb, he doesn't know. He thinks you can just do it willy-nilly, I'm sure. It's only in acts of emergency, in times of emergencies. That's when the Insurrection Act is used. So Donald Trump, it's bullshit. And then when he talks about the crime numbers and all of that, there's no evidence for it. Like he doesn't say, he just says it. And that's why people think these folks who sit around and they watch Fox News all day, perhaps it's some of you, maybe it's some of you. And you think that, oh, well, the economy's better, this is better, that, and it's not. He gives no evidence of it. We did a segment yesterday with Reese Colbert on the economy, inflation, all of these allegations that he made while overseas talking to the troops about that he's completely tackled inflation. None of it is true, but he says it. And people believe it. Where's the evidence that crime is down, zero, this, and we're going to send it in and we can do that? No, and no one challenges him to say, yeah, but that's only in times of emergencies. This is not an emergency. Just because you want to go into these cities, because you want to somehow impress upon people your power and that you can do whatever you want, that's not an emergency act. So, and what does that even mean? More than the National Guard? That's not leadership. That's what a man says when he's losing control and he needs a new villain. He needs a new distraction. Just release the Epstein files, Donald Trump, and just get it over. Just take us out of you and us. Just take us out of our misery, please. We want to get off of this, whatever timeline that we're on. We want to get off of this. It's time for a new episode, a new season. Can we get off of this White Lotus episode and get on to the next season where all the people come back? Maybe Dallas, where it's a dream. And now even the Senate, okay? The Senate, including some Republicans, they are pushing back. They just voted to scrap his tariffs on Brazil. They're saying we don't want it. With some GOP backing, Senate votes to end Trump's Brazil tariffs. There are a handful of Republicans who are doing it. These tariffs he used to call the most beautiful word, the same tariffs that raised grocery prices, hurt American farmers. Well, the Senate said, we're done. So that is not loyalty. That is the system. Everyone's saying enough of your games. Enough is enough. Donald Trump is getting very bad news. Do not be fooled by the okie doke, okay? You should feel empowered, okay, whew, something is happening. So let's take stock, okay? His revenge prosecutors, let's call them revenge prosecutors, is in legal trouble. His tariffs are getting tossed. 40 million people are losing help because of his government shutdown, because of the Trump government shutdown. Flights are delayed everywhere because of the Trump government shutdown, or the MAGA government shutdown, whatever you're going to call it. And his big solution, talk about troops in the streets. And on top of all of that, he finally admitted what we already knew, or for however he can admit it. I want you to watch this and you tell me what you think, but this is him, how much he can admit it. He admitted that he cannot run for a third term. He said, too bad. And you can hear it in his voice. That word, too bad, hit like it was heartbreak, like someone saying, I'm breaking up with you. It's not you, it's me.
Sir, Speaker Johnson says that there's no time to amend the Constitution to allow you to serve a third term. Is that an accurate representation of the conversation?
I don't want to even talk about that because, the sad thing is I have my highest numbers that I've ever had. As I said, I ended 8 wars and we have the greatest economy in history.
Please
And by the
pause
way,
that.
energy.
Please. I've had the highest numbers that I've ever had. Donald Trump is in the tank. Andy, you put up while we're doing this, okay? Can you just put up those numbers? The poll numbers. This is Donald Trump's approval. I have the highest numbers that I've ever had. Again, you have to do this in real time. No one said, that's not true, sir. You're below water on all of this. Approval of Donald Trump's handling of major issues. Do you approve of or disapprove of the way Donald Trump is handling these specific issues? The U.S. adult citizens who strongly or somewhat approve, minus the percentage who strongly or somewhat disapprove. Crime, negative numbers, negative 1%. Immigration, negative 10%. Foreign policy, negative 13%. Overall, negative 19%. Jobs in the economy, negative 22%. Inflation, negative 31%. Now, honey, sweetie, Donald, give me a break. And then he's going to go on. Back it up a little bit, Andy, and then go on, because now he's going to talk about energy prices. Just go on.
You know, the sad thing is I have my highest numbers that I've ever had. As I said, I ended 8 wars, and we have the greatest economy in history.
8 wars, that is a lie, too. That is a lie. And the greatest economy in history, that's a lie. Fact check. And then, but no one says, sir, none of what you just said was correct. Who are you with? Maybe you'll report it. No, but no one says anything. They're like trained seals. What the fuck is going on? Keep going.
Energy prices are way down. Everything's way down.
Energy prices are not way down. They're way up. If you don't believe me, maybe you need to have a conversation with Marjorie Taylor Greene, sir. And what you're going to hear from her in a moment. Marjorie Taylor Greene is not even buying his bullshit. I wonder, like, what the hell is going on with Marjorie Taylor Greene? Like, is this like Revenge of the, no, what is it? Invasion of the Body Snatchers? Anybody old enough to remember that movie, The Invasion of the Body Snatchers? I mean, yeah, keep going.
A little bit high, we're going to get beef down too, but prices are down and the economy's up. The only thing that's not down is the stock price.
Prices are not down. The economy is not up. We have the proof of that. Come on, people. Somebody please push back. At any other time, they would have just frustrated the person standing there lying to them so much by just barraging them with facts. But that's not happening. What the hell is going on? Keep going.
And the 401ks are through the roof. Everyone's 401ks hitting records. So we have the greatest economy we've ever had. I have my highest poll numbers that I've ever had. And, you know, based on what I read, I guess I'm not allowed to run. So we'll see what happens.
It says you're trolling when you talk about a third term. Are you
I
trolling or are you serious?
I don't think he said that. I don't think he just said that. But it's a very interesting thing. I have the best numbers for any president in many years. Any president.
He has the lowest numbers. Please, can you guys please get me some of the presidential numbers and the economic numbers, and can you just in the economy? I like to show the proof. And oh my God. Okay, keep going.
And I would say that if you read it, it's pretty clear. I'm not allowed to run. Stupid. But we have a lot of great people.
He's not allowed to run. Too bad. Let's see this. Okay. Donald Trump. Every single fact check says no. Donald Trump inherited a strong economy. President Donald Trump's claims presiding over the greatest economy ever are not supported by the data. Economists and fact checkers widely agree that his statements overstate the economic performance during his term. His first term, and even now. Key indicators show, now he's not going to like this and MAGA's not going to like this. Key indicators show that his presidency inherited a long period of growth from the Obama administration and ended with the shock of the COVID-19 pandemic, which he presided over so poorly that it almost drove our economy off of a cliff. And Joe Biden had to come in and rescue, like Barack Obama came in and rescued the economy from George Bush. Those are the facts, Jack. But is somebody telling him that? Like, is there like some screw loose in his brain where he can't understand? And I had this conversation with Michael Cohen yesterday about his cognitive decline, the reports of his cognitive decline. He's like, he's not cognitive decline. If he believes that, then something is going on. Something is happening. Do we have any of the proof that I asked for? If not, I can go on. If we do, let me know.
We have this full screen.
282 days into Donald Trump's term. And look at the numbers. Those numbers are going down and to the right. Not up to the right, but down to the right. The president's net approval rating is down negative 18%. Down 1.3 points since last week. 39% approval rating. 57% disapproval rating. 5% not sure. Now, I mean, what is Donald Trump reading here? What is Donald Trump reading here? You heard that word that he said aboard Air Force One. That's too bad. That hit him hard. Because for the first time, the man who thinks that rules don't apply to him ran into one that he can't break, and that is the Constitution. And that is the Constitution. And don't get me started on this whole ceasefire thing, because that's a bunch of bullshit. You're going to hear about that. Marjorie Taylor Greene. First, a word from our sponsors. 2 minutes. Support for the show comes from Ollie. You know how much I love my dogs, Boomer, Barkley, and Gus Gus. They run the house, So when I heard about Ollie, I wanted the absolute best for them. Ollie makes fresh human-grade meals with real protein-packed ingredients and delivers them right to your door. My dogs went crazy for the beef recipe. And even the picky one like Boomer, who, it has to be gourmet or he doesn't want to eat it. You can literally see the difference. Shinier coats, more energy, cleaner bowls. So just take their 30-second quiz at ollie.com/lemon. They'll build a custom meal plan just for your pup. And the app even offers on-demand health screenings with real experts. That's how much they care about your dog's well-being. So go to ollie.com/lemon and use the code LEMON for 60% off of your first box. And it is all backed by their happiness guarantee. If you're not happy, you get your money back. That's OLLIE.com/lemon. This episode is sponsored by BetterHelp. Now, I've said it before, we all need someone to talk to. I've had therapists who ask the right question at the right time and help me see things differently. Those moments really matter. BetterHelp is the world's largest online therapy platform. Over 30,000 licensed therapists and more than 5 million people have found help there. You just fill out a short questionnaire and get matched quickly. And if it's not the right fit, you can switch at any time, no questions asked. So if you have been thinking about therapy, maybe this is your sign. Visit betterhelp.com/donlemon for 10% off of your first month. That's betterhelp.com/donlemon. Take that step today. You deserve it.
You're back.
Oh, I'm back. Oh, okay. Thank you. I went to the kitchen to grab more tea. Thank you, everyone. Okay, so let's talk about what's happening overseas. Because Donald Trump, and we've got the Associated Press report, okay? So now, while he is busy fighting all of that we're talking about, something bigger is happening overseas, okay? Because the world is watching. Remember, we have the huge peace deal. This is a peace deal. This is a ceasefire. The world has been watching Gaza and the West Bank burn again. And it's not just me making this up. So I've been telling you guys this. It is supposed to be a ceasefire. Can you still call it a ceasefire when the sides who are not supposed to be firing on each other are actually firing on each other or at one of them? And Israel can't fire and then go, oh, the ceasefire deal is back on. You can't retaliate against me. And then someone retaliates and you go, oh, now we got to fight. Like that means there's no ceasefire. Am I making sense? I mean, that means there's no peace. So this whole thing about, I want to get the Nobel, I deserve the Nobel Peace Prize because I have created peace. I've stopped all these wars. He says he stopped so many wars, 8. It'll be 15 by next week. Today, Israeli forces pushed deeper into the West Bank, killing several Palestinians. It's one of the deadliest raids in months. Gaza is still under siege. Hamas is fractured. Civilians are starving, and now the violence has spread into new towns that hadn't seen fighting in years. Okay, so then what is going on? How many people, was it 100 or so Palestinians? Nikki, when you guys read the reports, I think the reports
104 last night.
104. Yeah, Gaza reaches 104. That's it right there in the headline. So how is this a ceasefire? How is this a peace deal? How is he even being allowed to tout this as some sort of peace deal? How can Jared Kushner and what's his name, JD Vance, be out there touting this as like it's something real? This is not real. This is all I told you guys when we were watching this. This is a Donald Trump Inc. production. The whole thing. And now America, under Trump, has no plan. He has been too busy settling scores at home to even pretend to care about diplomacy. Look at this. If you want, look at Gaza. And how can you help that when the State Department is a ghost town? How can you help these folks if aid workers are begging for help? How can you help in the United States when families or when people are dying in hospital with no electricity and the president of the United States is silent? There's no political upside in compassion anymore. So think about that. While the whole world is begging for peace, he is out there talking about sending troops into our cities. While Gaza burns, he is starting fires here. And his number one priority, according to his flack, Caroline Levitt, his number one priority is the ballroom. So the question really becomes, everyone, how much longer can a country keep pretending everything is fine when everything is falling apart? How much? It's not, you can feel it. I mean, it's not like you can't, you know what's happening. You feel it when you're out in the streets, if you're paying attention to the news at all, if you're out and about, if you're flying, if you feel it. The chaos isn't just, if you go to the grocery store, you definitely feel it. When you see your energy bills, you definitely feel it. The chaos isn't just out there anymore. It's right here. It's not over in Gaza anymore. It's right here. It's your grocery bill. As I said, it's in the delayed flights. It's the hunger numbers. It's in the silence from the leadership. It's in, some people are starting to turn. But the reason that he can't say that I can't run for president in the third term, because then he'll realize he's a lame duck. And then the veil, the mask will melt, will fall off. And people will start to push back against him in his own party because they'll feel he's a lame duck. So he can't say it. He can only say so much. Yeah, I read the report. Do we have Mike Johnson talking about this report too? Yeah, about the report that I said of him running a third term. This is why they had a conversation, but Donald Trump has to, well, I understand it because he doesn't want to, make Mike Johnson sound like shit or stupid. And he knows the reality of it. But then he knows. Mike Johnson, they had a conversation. Here it is.
Well, there is the 22nd Amendment. I spoke with the president about an hour ago. It's late in the evening in Japan. He's working around the clock, serving the American people. He doesn't stop. Talk about someone who works around the clock. And as Chairman Pfluger mentioned a moment ago, and as we've reiterated in here so many times, you're looking at the split screen because under President Trump, the Republican Party has delivered I mean, you're talking about reducing taxes, reducing regulations, cutting fraud, waste, and abuse, ended the border crisis, ending the crime crisis, resolving conflicts, wars around the globe, and working on these amazing trade agreements. It's been a great run, but I think the president knows, and he and I have talked about the constrictions of the Constitution, as much as so many of the American people lament that. The Trump 2028 cap is one of the most popular that's ever been produced, and he has a good time with that, trolling the Democrats whose hair is on fire about the very prospect. But I do believe that we've got 3 extraordinary years ahead of us, and the 2 years of the Trump administration are going to be an incredible thing. And I don't see a way to amend the Constitution because it takes about 10 years to do that, as you all know, to allow all the states to ratify what 2/3 of the House and 3/4 of the states would approve. So I don't see the path for that, but I can tell you that we are not going to take our foot off the gas pedal. We're going to deliver for the American people, and we've got a great run ahead of us. We'll have 4 strong years.
Okay, so first of all, that's bullshit. The only thing that I would say is that they've had success at the border, meaning shutting it down, but I don't believe that the border should be shut down. I don't believe that it should be open, right, 100%. I don't think that there should be open borders. I don't think there was ever open borders, as they have been saying. But everything else he said, we've gotten tax cuts and bullshit. Not for working class people, not for poor people. He's lying. And just wait until Donald Trump gets a load of what he is saying. Donald Trump is not going to be happy about it. And then he's going to, Mike Johnson taking that shit back when they're trying to change the Constitution. We need to amend the Constitution, and we need to expressly do it. We need to do it quickly. Can we do it fast? Do you know what I'm talking about? Watch. They're going to try. But they're not going to be able to do it. Old people be knowing. They're not going to be able to do it, but he's going to try everything. Now, I know you guys we had Judge Ludick on yesterday, and he said Donald Trump has amassed so much power in the United States that if he really wanted to not leave the White House, he could probably do it. We'll see. But I just think that it would be, this country would burn. I just don't believe that would happen. Look, maybe I'm wrong. You guys tell me what you think. You guys tell me what you think. But this was the man, look, who said he was going to, you heard what Mike Johnson just said, we're going to make America great again. This is a man who said he was going to make America great again. He can't even make America function right now. And that's the truth. The airports are a mess. The courts are clogged. Safety nets are collapsing. And now the Senate, the courts, and even parts of his own party starting to whisper the same thing that the rest of us have known for a very long time. This is not sustainable. Even if he tries to expedite, the having the Constitution changed, it's not going to happen. He'll try though. But you can't keep running a country on vengeance. You can't keep blaming the world when you're the one who's lighting matches. And I know people say that he survived worse. Maybe he has. I don't know. But this time, the bad news isn't just his, it's ours. The cracks in the system, they're real now. You can see them. You can feel them. And while he is busy pointing fingers, the people who put him there, they're starting to look around and realize that they are standing in rubble, the ruins. It looks like the East Wing right now. What was the East Wing? Remember, he promised to drain the swamp. Now he is the swamp. He is drowning in his own swampy mess. And the people who cheered him on, watching their flights get canceled, their benefits are disappearing, their grocery bills tripling. This is not what I voted for. Yes, it is what you voted for. Yes, it is. Sorry, eat it. Now, I will welcome you into the room, into the club of sane people who understood the assignment and knew what was at stake. Didn't fall for the, identity politics, even though MAG is the biggest identity politics party, I believe, in history. Didn't fall for that. Oh, she's not qualified. They didn't send her to a proper vetting process. Oh my gosh, she's trans this. For all the people who did not fall for that, you're welcome. but I'm just saying it is what you voted for. This is what happens when a president stops governing and he is performing and he's promising to do actually exactly what he said. He said, I want to be a dictator on day one. When everything becomes about settling scores and feeding the ego. This is what happens when the truth doesn't matter anymore and empathy is seen as weakness. You start rounding people up on the streets without due process, beating them up, asking them for their papers as if we are some third world country or some dictatorship. And maybe that's why this week is hitting different for Donald Trump and for us. Because for once, the bad headlines aren't about scandals or tweets. They're about, maybe possibly canceling Donald Trump, which means they're about consequences, right? Not necessarily about canceling, maybe. Time to cancel him. Consequences. Real ones, legal ones, human ones. A government collapsing under its own weight. A world on fire. No peace deal. No ceasefire. And then the man who is overseas thinking it is all a show. Getting ready for his big, beautiful ballroom and preparing for whatever it is, who is flitting around in Asia while America is burning. This isn't a show, people. We're talking about the lives of people. Our country is on edge. 40 million Americans are wondering how they're going to eat next month. Families stranded in airports. And despite what they want you to believe or tell you, bombs are falling on Gaza. So no, this isn't just Trump's bad week. It's a mirror. It's showing us who we have become and what happens when we let chaos take the wheel. Time to stop watching the circus and start asking why the tin is on fire right now. Because if this is what winning looks like, I hate to see what losing is. If this is what being great is, then I would really hate to see what being not great is. Wait till you hear what Marjorie Taylor Greene has to say. I never thought those words would come out of my mouth, but give me 2 minutes. Support comes from MSI United States. In sub-Saharan Africa, 4 million teenage girls drop out of school every year because they get pregnant. Not because they want to, but because they don't have access to birth control. MSI Reproductive Choices is changing that, giving girls the freedom to plan their futures safely. For just $26, you can provide contraception for 4 years. 4 years to stay in school, to dream a little bigger. MSI has top ratings from Charity Navigator and Candid, so you know your donation counts. To give, text LEMON to 511-511 or visit msiunitedstates.org. That's M for modern, S for safe, I for informed. Text LEMON to 511-511 today. Text fees may apply. Support comes from Henson Shaving. Now, when I tried the Henson razor, I finally got what a skin-friendly shave actually means. No irritation, no razor burn, just smooth skin. Henson makes their razors in an aerospace machine shop in Canada. The same folks who made parts for the Mars rover, that is precision. Their blades are held so tight that there's zero wobble in them, which means fewer nicks and no redness. And you'll love this. Once you own a Henson, replacement blades cost just a few bucks a year, no subscriptions, no plastic waste. So here's what you do. You visit hensonshaving.com/lemon, pick your razor, and use code LEMON to get a free pack of 100 blades. That's about 2 years of shaving free. And add them to your cart, and you're all set. HENSON shaving.com/lemon. I've been using it. Look. Amazing. Thanks to all of our sponsors. Smooth. Okay. It really does make a difference. Look, and I don't have to say this, right? It does make a difference. I can shave every day and I don't get nicked or cut. And it's the old school. I wish I had the razor down here. It is that old school flat razor that you twist and you put it in the thing. It's amazing. I used to hate it. I use a clipper some days to get it off because I get ingrown hairs and all that. Try it. If you get ingrown hairs, if you're a black man, you have curly hair that grows inside, or if some Jewish men have it, if you anybody who has the coarse hair like that, it works. It works for me. You should try it. Okay. They've got the cream and the thing. Again, this is going above and beyond what I have to do for them, but I'm just telling you, it really works for me. So does the Ollie. We've been using it forever on our dogs. Okay. And BetterHelp. I like them as well, because I believe in therapy. All right, let's talk about these things. Now, you heard Donald Trump touting all of these things about the economy, just lying. Mike Johnson, the same thing. And so far, most of the Republicans are towing the line, except for some. Let me just show you back some of the things, Andy. Let's just put up some of the things that they're not towing the line about. Some of them I've used already. So the Senate is voting to end Trump's 50% Brazil tariff, right? Okay, so that is, except for a couple of people. So the Senate is voting, and then there's some Republicans they believe are on their side. So that could happen. And then, according to Reuters, Trump's move to his Lindsey Halligan could derail the way that he installed her. It could derail the cases against Letitia James and James Comey and John Bolton, because they believe that she got this position in an illegal way, unconstitutional way. Okay? And then the GOP lawmakers are uniting to bash Halligan, Trump's prosecutor in Comey's case. They're saying that it's illegitimate, and the GOP is helping. Now, also in the GOP, Marjorie Taylor Greene, who, remember everything Donald Trump said about energy, blah, 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 all of this stuff. This is Marjorie Taylor Greene in an interview. Now, you tell me, anyway, go ahead.
Prices have not come down at all.
The job market is
Job market is still extremely difficult. Wages have not gone up. Health insurance premiums are going to go up. Car insurance goes up every year. People's homeowners insurance goes up.
Yep.
Rent is going up.
Yep.
Young people have no hope of buying a home. And then when they try to buy a home, they end up, like I said, competing with like Blackstone or somebody else.
The average home buyer now is 38 years old. It just came out.
Right.
The average home buyer, 38.
On the flip side, baby boomers can't sell their homes.
Right.
They pay massive capital gains taxes. They don't know, like, well, what do I move to? How do I downsize? I can't replace what I have.
Right.
So there are problems on both ends. Some of my own personal family members, some of my own personal friends, they're getting by month to month, charging up their credit cards.
Look, I know someone said, Don, don't be fooled. Marjorie Taylor Greene is still a racist POS. I get it. Don't think that. Look, I have not put a memory hold on who Marjorie Taylor Greene is, but I mean, or was, is, I mean, I'm just saying. Someone said her family's losing snap. I'm just saying, though, she sounds like a Democrat. It's like a Freaky Friday thing. But someone said, does she and John Fetterman like switch roles? Did you guys see that thing? This is like a Freaky Friday. Like, what happened? What happened? I mean, Marjorie Taylor Greene, you're right, is going full force. Does anybody remember not Revenge, I keep saying that, Invasion of the Body Snatchers? I mean, Nikki, when you saw that soundbite, producers, when we listened to that soundbite, what did we say? Like, what is happening? No?
I said it's like pod people.
What is pod people?
It's like Invasion of the Body Snatchers.
Like, what is happening? What do you think? What do you guys think is behind it? Anybody weigh in? Andy, Peter, Nikki, what is behind this, you think?
Yeah, is she running for something else in the future and she's trying to get support? I don't know. That's what politicians always do.
I believe there's some form of self-interest, self-preservation here.
I think she's preparing for a post-Trump Republican Party.
Yeah.
Let me tell you. Okay. Yes, Peter, I think you're right about that. I also think, though, even if she's doing it, I do believe that sometimes people have a come to Jesus. Now, that doesn't mean that she's going to change everything that she believes. Look at Robert Byrd, remember? And I'm not saying that she's on that trajectory, but I'm just saying it happens. You know what I mean? And he apologized for his racial epithets, for using all kinds of words. He issued several apologies throughout his career, most notably in 2001 for a 2001 racial slur where he expressed regret, stating that the phrase has no place in today's society. He also apologized in 1992 for remarks about immigrants not speaking English. His career is also marked by later with extensive apologies for his youthful affiliation with the Ku Klux Klan and his opposition to the 1964 Civil Rights Act. Became friends with John Lewis. Now, I'm not saying that Marjorie Taylor Greene has reached that point yet, but I just want you to know it is possible. And so as I watch Marjorie Taylor Greene, I go, what is happening? But it's interesting the places she's choosing to go. I mean, she went on CNN, which is okay. That's fairly interesting. They're right now. But I mean, I would love to see her go. Like, can you imagine Marjorie Taylor Greene sitting down with Rachel Maddow? Oh, with me, that would be great. I mean, I think she keeps going on this fairly conservative talk radios. What is it? What is this podcast that she was on? Do we know this person?
I think that's Tim Dillon, right? Isn't that Tim Dillon?
Yeah, I think it was him.
It's Tim Dillon, right wing.
He's kind of right wing. He's in the manosphere.
Okay, I don't really know him, so I'm not going to cast any judgment on him. But I mean, he's conducting great interviews with her, I think. So Marjorie Taylor Greene says Trump is failing. Do you guys agree with that? He's got to be pissed. And so if he has other deflections or defections like that, if people start defecting from the Republican Party, that's why he can't say out loud, right? That's why he can't say out loud that, oh, I can't run in 2028. He's got to like couch it a little bit. He goes, yeah, it's sad that it said that, but we'll see. We shall see. Anyhow, we got any merch picks? Anyhow, guys, what great engagement today. Look, guys, can you just make sure you hit the thumbs up, okay? And if you are watching, make sure that you're a subscriber today, okay? Make sure you're a subscriber, and also make sure you become a member. And thank you for those who become a member. Ronnie says Trump's priorities are totally screwed when it comes to the American people. $170 billion for ICE, $117 billion tax cuts for the rich, $40 billion. Can we put Ronnie's thing up there? $40 billion for Argentina, $250 million for his ballroom. And the list goes on. Thank you. That's what I tried to tell you this morning. And Mark Peart, welcome to the Lemon Nation. Thank you so much for your support. Motown Minnie, thank you so much. She finally found some meds that work, but wore off for Bad Bunny. Now, it's funny. I thought like maybe she did, because I've seen people change when they get the right meds. I'm serious. I have. And I was going to say that. I was like, do I want to do that? But maybe she did. So, anywho, thank you guys so much for supporting us. Welcome to all of the new members. If you want to know anything about the show, make sure you hit the thumbs up before you go. Go to donlemon.com. Just go check out donlemon.com, everybody. Go check it out and just start clicking on stuff and seeing, okay? So, and Nikki, remind me, we need to add Twitch. So if you want
to, at the bottom, you scroll down, Twitch.
It's down.
By the other social media sites, but I can have them move it up.
Oh, okay. Oh, it's at the right, to the right.
I see it.
Where it says stream. There it is. Sure. There it is. There we go. And look, we're live on the Twitch. Let's see. It's delayed. Let's see if what happens.
It's going to keep going.
It's going to keep going. Ah, there we go. There we go. We're live on the Twitch. Okay. So you can click and it'll show you everywhere. Let's see. Click on the iHeart and stuff. There, it's not uploaded to that yet, right? You have to send that out.
No, that'll be up shortly afterwards.
Yeah, that was our last episode, I think. Okay. Trump cannot stop lying. Now we got to make sure we have all of the episodes up there. Are all the episodes on there?
Yep, every episode.
All right, and then you can click on merch. Go to merch, right on the Don Lemon show. Right on the donlemon.com, and there you can get it. This one I showed you at the beginning of the show. Yeah, and then we got our mugs and all that stuff. Old people be knowing. That's my favorite. All right, everyone. You're the best. Did you learn anything today? Every day I wonder, how can I bring knowledge and I try not to depress you, but knowledge and truth, and not pretend, not give false equivalents. We don't have to have MAGA people on. You don't have to give a platform to liars and all that. There's no corporate influence. You guys know how happy I am to be able to do this. It's not easy though. We do need your support. So I want to welcome Gretchel Smith is a new member. Thank you so much. They only change their mind when it directly affects them or someone there in their direct orbit. Thank you, Tania 2577. Thank you for your support. Violet XOXOX. I want to move from my isolated town to a smaller home, more populated area, and I can't afford to buy another home anywhere else in my state. It's crazy. Yeah, I'm sorry about that. It is really, really, really awful. And I know it's bad out there. And who else is out there? We got Midtown. Thank you. So thank you everyone for your support. Thank you, Ronnie, Don. Hi, all the food banks and other entities have a desperate need for food assistance. If you can offer help, please. I said that if you can afford it, that you should try to help one family. If everyone could be like a sponsor for one family, I'd be willing to do that to try to get them through this, just as a bridge to help. I'm not saying you have to support like their entire family, but just to help or just give stuff for the food banks. Because here's the thing. Yes, it is important that people are going to lose SNAP benefits. I was watching a conversation earlier before the show, and they were talking about, I don't care whose fault it is. And I just want people to, I have a whole lot of people who are going to lose SNAP benefits. And by the way, and that is huge. And they're going to lose their government support. That is huge. But you have to weigh a lot of things. The bigger picture is important. And it is important about whose fault it is, because there's one side who doesn't want affordable health care for all Americans. And the truth of the matter is that affordable health care affects more Americans than SNAP. Now, this is not a competition about who needs it most, but I'm saying the bigger picture is that this one thing also affects the people who are on SNAP and who get government assistance. Do you understand what I'm saying? So we usually do what America's about is the greater good for everyone, how to get the most people to have services or not get sick or all that stuff like during COVID, right? You wear a mask for your neighbor or for someone who has a compromise, like you do things for the greater good. So the more people are affected by health care overall than it is about people who may be losing benefits, much needed benefits that they should get. But I hope you understand what I'm saying. I'm not saying that one is more important than each other. I said, but one affects more than anything. 40 million Americans are going to lose things, but hundreds of millions of Americans are going to be affected by more expensive healthcare, higher premiums. So we have to keep all of that in mind. Okay. So be informed without being inundated. Oh, and do we have any merch picks?
We have one.
Okay, let's get the merch pick. Who's this?
This is Julia from Kentwood, Louisiana.
Julia. Oh, hey, Julia. Hey, homegirl from Kentwood, Louisiana. I love the glasses. Beautiful. Thank you. I'm glad you're Don Lemon's biggest fan. So am I. You got to be your own biggest fan sometimes. Okay, so be informed without being inundated. And that's until I see you back here this evening for 5 p.m. Eastern time on the Don Lemon Show and the Don Lemon channel. I want you to do this. Turn the TV off. Thanks everyone for watching. Your support means the world to us. So make sure you hit the like button and you subscribe to our channel to make sure that you never ever miss a video. We're live every day, 10 a.m. Eastern time. We drop even more content at 2 p.m. Eastern and 5 p.m. Eastern. And if you want more Don Lemon Show content, we'd love for you to become a member of the Lemon community, where you will receive access to special community posts. You'll get exclusive content and members-only live shows. So head over to our channel page or click the join button on this video. Again, thank you for watching. We appreciate your love and your support.